So on various nuggets, we've covered earthing or grounding and the science behind it. And here is an email I received yesterday from a patient who has been grounding for a month or so. And it's really cool because he's noticed impacts in his DOMS, which is an acronym for Delayed Onset Muscle Soreness. So you go to the gym, you work out, and then you're sore and painful for 24 to 48 hours after, usually. That's pretty typical from heavy training, at least from a bodybuilding perspective. So this patient, he does leg workouts for 45 minutes to an hour typically. And with the routine that he does, he's been training for 20 years. So he has, a typical routine and a typical response. And he said, sometimes I just have muscle pain instantly after my leg workout, which means I'll be in pain for 3 to 4 days. Even on the lightest day, I'll have DOMS for 1 to 2 days after, 1 to 2 days after training legs. So that being said, I went to the gym last week and I had not a 45-minute leg day, but a 2-hour leg day. And he said, I was in pain when I walked out, which means 3 to 4 days of pain based on his 20 years of previous experience training. So he trained for 2 hours, not 45 minutes. He was already in pain before he left the gym. But he says, I've been sleeping on a grounding mat and wearing the wristband at work. By the way, I have a multimeter on my desk at work and I've verified I'm grounded. So the multimeter is reading the electromagnetic field. So I am grounded. So for 5 to 6 hours a day at work, I'm grounded via the wristband. And then 7 to 8 hours at night, I'm grounding minimum, sleeping on the grounding mat. Anyway, I wake up the next day fully expecting limited mobility. So decreased range of motion, pain when sitting or bending over. And I had none of it. He said, I had full range of motion and had little, if any, pain. A 2-hour training session on any body part would have rendered me handicapped for days, but it didn't. Basically, according to my calculations, grounding cut 3 to 4 days of pain off of his DOMS. Grounding works, and I wish I had known this years ago when I was more active in sports. So I just thought that'd be cool for you all to see because we've discussed this on the calls. He actually does this because he watched one of the recordings. And I know others of you on the call and not on this call are using grounding mats, and I use it myself in the office. So encouragement to continue doing it, and questions and comments.
I use it as well. And I sleep with the grounding mat. I have trouble sleeping, but I feel like the quality of my sleep, even though not ideal, I'm still staying with it because I notice that if I combine the grounding mat, and Paul and I try to get out every weekend and go hiking, and we know that in our hiking, we're going to take off our shoes and we're going to go sit by a stream on a rock, or we're going to ground during that hike sometime. And I notice with the combination of pure grounding on the earth or some sort of rock or whatever, in combination with the mat, I do sleep better. And I'm hoping that once all my planets align, man, I'm going to be snoozing away on a picket fence somewhere one of these days.
On a bed of nails.
So, and I was introduced because you were wearing an odd thing on your wrist one meeting, and we were talking, and you had a great, by the way, look up Dr. B's video on it. It's fascinating. It's fascinating. I went down a rabbit hole, and that was the end.
Did you get the land kissing product, or did you get a different one?
I got the land kissing from your recommendation, just because I didn't know, and you know what's out there and stuff. So I did do that. I don't wear the wrist as much because I forget I have it on, and it's like a leash, you know.
Yeah. So for those who don't know, and I don't get anything from this company, but you can go on landkissing.com and order the grounding mats and or wristband, and they're also on Amazon as well. So that's what I have. That's what Karen uses. That's what the patient that supplied this testimonial uses. That doesn't mean it's the only good brand, but that's the ones we have experience with. So we know it's working for some of us, right? Anyone else have questions or comments on this?
What are
And
some of the other, oh, can you guys hear me?
Yeah. Amanda.
Okay.
Hello, hello.
I've had some technology issues this time, so, um, but I guess what are some of the other benefits of grounding? I know we talked about it some previously, but just to jog my memory.
Yeah, it's really depends on the person. So the basic benefit is grounding is connecting you with the earth, which humanity has always been connected to the earth until recently with shoes and pavement and computer jobs and all that. So in our barefoot contact with the earth, or sleeping on the ground, or you know, being at the beach, whatever, we are absorbing negative ions from the earth, and those negative ions help release oppose oxidative stress, or rust is what I call it metaphorically. And so oxidative stress is why you take antioxidants, right? Take antioxidants to fight oxidative stress. But the negative ions from the earth also neutralize the oxidative stress, so that decreases inflammation, slows aging, tissue damage, etc. And so, you know, in an individual person, what's that going to amount to depends on where you have the most oxidative stress, or you have the most, the greatest deficiency of negative ions. So one study had called it electron deficiency syndrome. And so wherever you're lacking your electrons in your specific case, you have the potential to help that by restoring those via grounding. And I'll link to the video or videos I've done on it, so that you can more conveniently dig deeper on that.
Sounds good. Thank you. That is interesting.
Yeah.
I
Anything
wanted
else?
to add that if anybody tries grounding and you do get the land kiss and it's the wrist, if you wear the wrist and you touch your computer, you may feel a shock, which I have felt before. So you can tell it doesn't work by electricity. It's grounding in your outlet, but you can feel something,
Yep.
which freaked me out the first time, but it's okay.